Hi guys, Shane Guilford here from Cheshire College South and West, the hospitality department at our Crewe campus. Tonight I'm going to show you how to rustle up a nice, simple, quick and easy cottage pie. To do that, we've got some minced beef, stock cubes, a little bit of onion, seasoning, nice cheap 40p bag of diced carrot and swede ready done, save yourself a job, a little bit of celery to just put in there as well with it, some frozen peas, and some potatoes to cut up and do for a little bit of mash to top the pie with, and some red wine just to give it a little bit of indulgence. So the first thing we need to do is prepare and chop our onion and our celery to mix in with these carrot and swede. Okay, so we're just going to peel that, chop it finely, same with the celery, and keep to one side. Celery into thin strips, and then chop that the same sort of size as your carrot and swede. So now we're going to fry off and get some colour on our vegetables, so that adds flavour to the finished dish. Okay, so what I've done here is just emptied half the bag of carrot and swede out. We'll use the other half for something else later in the week when we've got our celery and we've got our onion. So I'm going to add that now to the frying. Then we're going to season it, a little bit of salt and a few twists of black pepper. Okay, so we're getting some colour onto our vegetables now. What we're after is a nice little golden tinge on them. The thing with flavour, it all equates to colour. If you get colour in it, on it, around it, it's going to taste good. We're getting nice and golden brown. Okay, now what we're going to look at while they're finishing cooking off is making the stock up. Now in here I've just got two beef oxo cubes. So that, just about half a pint of boiling water. You're probably thinking, well, that's going to make my cottage pie really thin and watery. Yeah, but it's going to make it go further. You're going to get more portions out of it. Now to counteract the thinness, we're going to just chuck in a few gravy granules towards the end of cooking just to tighten it up and give that sauce a bit of depth and body. Now what you can do, because this is going to make way more than one cottage pie, is the bit you have left after the cottage pie, add some tomatoes to it, some kidney beans, some chilli powder, and you've got chilli. Leave the chilli beans and chilli out, just the tomato and tomato paste and a touch of garlic, you've got bolognese. Okay, so it's a really good base. That's the vegetables cooked and coloured, so I'm just going to take those off the heat and now start to brown the minced beef. So behind me I've just got a pan heating up gently with nothing in it, ready to add a splash of oil to brown the minced beef. On the minced beef, you get it a medium-sized mince from the supermarket. Now I think it's still quite chunky. So what I'm going to do is tip it onto the board, tip the underneath soaking bit up off there, and just chop it a little bit by hand to get that a little bit finer. There we go. So in with a splash of vegetable oil. In with the minced beef. So we're going to season that, pinch of salt and pepper, and then just keep breaking it up, just using your spoon, stir, break, let fry, repeat a couple of times till we get that even brown colour all over. Okay, so a quick recap where we're up to so far. We've got our nice golden brown cooked vegetables. They took about 5 to 6 minutes frying on full heat. And then our mince. Now our mince is there now, that's took about 3 minutes to do. So all I'm going to do with that now is add the vegetables to the mince. In with the vegetables. Wow. Now it gets really exciting. What we're going to add now is a little bit of tomato paste. That is optional, don't worry if you haven't got that. About a teaspoon. A little glug or splash of red wine, I'd say about 25-50 ml, something like that. And stir that in. Now we're going to add our beef stock, or our beef oxo, just get it in there. So just as that's coming up to the boil, just to give the dish a little bit of sweetness and a nice flavour to it, we're going to add just a few frozen peas and stir those in. Now all this needs to do now is come up to the boil and just thicken it however thick you want it with enough gravy granules. Just don't forget, this is going to cook again now when it's topped with the potato and in the oven. Okay, so now we're just going to have a little taste just before we thicken it up. Make sure it's okay for salt and pepper. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So what we're going to do now, just sprinkle in a few supermarket gravy granules. Wow. So our pie is now ready. Beautiful consistency, lots of nice vibrant colour, lots of flavour. Let's get that in the pie dish. Now I'm going to fill this to about 3/4 of the way from the top and let that cool slightly. Now what will happen is a little skin will form on the top for your mash to sit on. If you put your mash on straight away, it will just sink into the pie and just be one big mess. So let it cool, get that skin off. Okay, so we've got on the go here some potatoes boiling in salted water to do our topping with, which I'll add some cream and butter to later. We've got a pan of water on the go here to cook some lovely broccoli. Again, we'll just top that with a bit of butter and serve with the pie. Just while we're on the broccoli, with the stalks, don't chuck them away. Cut them into nice pieces like so, with as many sharp points and edges as possible, and roast them. A bit of thyme, garlic, seasoning and stuff like that. And the sharp bits just caramelise really nicely and taste beautiful and sweet. Give it a go, it's one of the best veggies you'll ever have that you normally chuck away. Okay, so we're just finishing off our mash now. We've got the mashed potato, to which we're going to add some knobs of butter, some whipping cream, and just mash that all together so it's nice, smooth and rich, light and fluffy. Okay, so now we're going to top the pie with the mash. Nothing fancy, no piping bag. Just put little blobs on like so. So you could faff about with a piping bag, but really what is the point? Or a fork, which looks a bit old-fashioned. So I'm just going to do, with a palette knife, just spread it nice and evenly. Nice and smooth. Now with your palette knife, just press little patterns like that, almost like little fish scales. And it just creates a nice little finish to the pie. So there's our pie, finished, patterned, decorated, and that's going into an oven set at 220 degrees for about 30 minutes. So, moment of truth, pie coming out of the oven, nice and golden brown, bubbling away, beautiful. Now let's plate up. Okay, so there we have it, homemade cottage pie with buttered broccoli.